The São Miguel do Anjo lighthouse chapel was built in 1527, by Dom Miguel da Silva, who was prebendary of the monastery of Santo Tirso, to which the São João de Foz estate belonged. The building, on the way to Foz do Douro, features a square shape and it's the oldest lighthouse in Portugal, and one of the oldest lighthouses in Europe, designed by Italian architect, Francesco da Cremona. Facing south, there is an inscription that gives meaning to the work of the tower, that governs the passage of ships, with perpetual fire, at night. On the east side, another stone states, "I wish you to return safe and sound," saying goodbye to the boats that leave the Barra. Despite being a small building, implanted already off the coastline, the São Miguel do Anjo Tower has a central position in the system of visibility and threading necessary to approach the bar. At the entrance of the river, and in the navigation of its slow course, it remains a mark of alignments, indispensable until contemporary times. In the 15th and 16th centuries, as a result of the growing Portuguese maritime expansion in the world, Porto's economic activity was essentially trade linked to the river and the sea. This activity was threatened by the difficulty that ships encountered at the entrance to the bar, since it was quite narrow and dangerous. Dom Miguel da Silva wanted to build a port in Foz do Douro that would rival that of Lisbon and allow northern Portugal a faster and easier access to Europe's ports. By 1832, the English, who followed the struggles of the Siege of Porto, recorded the presence and function of the tower as a reference for entry to Barra do Douro. In 1848, Cesário Augusto Pinto portrays the popular environment of its context to the east, the fishing place of Cantareira. The lifeguard house was built in 1825. In 1828, the Casa de Silo dos Náufragos was established there, on the proposal of the board of the Companhia Geral do Douro, permanently maintaining a guard and a lifeboat. The House of the Pilots of Barra, and the Post of the Telegraph, is a building constructed to house the service of the pilots, but other services will share the same space as headquarters of the Fiscal Guard, and for some time, the first Foz do Douro police station. The Telegraph Commercial Tower was established in Foz on March 5, 1835, but the construction adjacent to the northern facade of the Chapel of Anjo, intended to accommodate the installations, only began to be erected in 1852. Illustrating the desire for change, the new project for a romantic walk emerges, designed by Emile David, in 1861. In 1865, the international exhibition took place in Porto, in the Cristal Palace.
Eu estava a fazer um quarto da vigia, o barco estava ancorado, e as ordens do meu tio, que era o capitão, ou o mestre de pesca, lá, era se visse algum barco ali perto, por causa de não ir para as redes, para avisar. E eu vi realmente um barco aí uns 200 metros, como daqui àqueles lá, 300 metros para aí. E eu fui chamá-lo. Mas quando vi para trás eu já não vi o barco, mas vi um clarão. Eu sei que era um relâmpago aqui. Tu não viste barco nenhum e eu pensei que tinha adormecido. A alma da minha quer ver que eu adormeci. Quando veio luz fusca, tinha lá umas 50 vedetas espanholas e marquinhas, foi de terra com um míssil, botaram esse barco, arrebentaram com ele. E depois as vedetas vieram, também com pneumáticos, também pediram, não estou a brincar, não é nenhum sonho, pediram-nos gelo e disseram, ide embora daqui, a gente tinha redes na água. Andava no lavadores, que agora o Bilde Safi, indo embora daqui, porque isto vai haver aqui coisa grossa.
At that time, on the west side, The fishing village of São João da Foz is experiencing a remarkable development, attracting a wealthy part of Porto society, which builds their houses on the first line of Passeio Alegre. In 1881, the Pilot's House concentrates the services of aid to castaways. In the 20th century, the growing recognition of the notability of the 16th century building triggers studies, with a view to understanding its importance as heritage of the city and a monument of Portuguese architecture.
Só estes barcos é que têm a vara. A vara é uma vara mesmo comprida, um ferro, de 6 metros, 6 ou 7 metros, grossa. E depois na vara, está o barco, a vara, tem a rede agarrada. Ao fundo da rede tem lá um saco. E vai para lá para dentro. E depois despejam para o barco e depois começam a escolher. A raia para um lado, a faneca para o outro, a desvia para o outro.
Small protected coves within the bar offer fishing vessels a safe haven for sea work and fishing in the estuary. The landing and distribution of fish, salt and other products. Local work to repair fishing nets and their vessels, in spite of the larger shipyards that were developed upstream of the river, in the place of Ouro. The salting and drying of the fish, the sale to Castilian merchants and all the commercial movement of goods that passes the Barra is taxed, building the local economy. Rafael Moreira, a scholar of Portuguese Renaissance architecture, presented in 1983 an essay describing the work of Dom Miguel da Silva and Francesco de Cremona, with references to mythical models of the 7 wonders of the world, recreated in the old way in an environment of monumentalization of Barra, inspired by the connection between Rome and Ostia, evoked by analogy in Foz do Porto.
Dizer assim, a minha sogra e mais antiga dizia assim, muitos dias vai chegar a um ponto que os ricos, os pobres, que vão desaparecer todos daqui. É a realidade. É a realidade. Aqui era muita pobreza, era uma amizade uns com os outros. Hoje, numa casa viviam de gente. Tudo pessoas sérias, uma cozinha dava para todos. Hoje não é nada disso. Hoje não é nada disso. Aqui vinham os barcos grandes dali do Cabedelo, que agora nem vão para lá, que acabou. Mas indo para lá fazer praia e tudo, vinha coisa, havia aqui barqueiros que passavam para o lado de lá e lá fazia-se praia como numa praia. Isso acabou. E vinham os barcos com a areia, que era para descarregarmos aqui, que era para as obras e tudo isso acabou. Tudo isso acabou, não se vê nada do que era antigamente, nem para lá caminho. Você não via assim pessoas a passar aqui, nem nada, era uma coisa calma. Hoje é quem mais corre, e se estiver lá um bocado de tempo bom, é pior do que no Senhor de Matosinhos, como a festa.
In 1258, in the inquiries of Dom Afonso III, there were reports of 37 couples and 14 huts in the São João da Foz area. In 1527, the number already registered 286 inhabitants. Fishing takes the local economy to the coasts of Galicia and north to A Coruña. There is also Varga fishing, already mentioned in the first charter of Gaia, that is practiced in Lago do Rio, an area of calm waters, located on the left bank of Arino and Aforada. Varga fishing is an agri-maritime activity linked to farming, but it takes place at sea. Working fishermen and huts, also the farmers, the pelado caught in the river and the seaweed collected by the sea, it dries on the exposed beaches of the coast, serving the farming of rural places that populate the rear of the fishing centers. Until the end of the 20th century, the purpose of reference to navigation that had justified the construction of the lighthouse tower remains in use. But with the abandonment of the empirical navigation system by threading, at the entrance of the Barra and in the final course of the river, and the regularization of the wall in the Barra, the memory of the dome function tends to be lost. Finally, the reduction of sea activities, and the relocation of functions dedicated to the regularization of navigation, empty the tower raised by Dom Miguel de Silva. Next to the São Miguel or Anjo lighthouse chapel, and to this day, a riverfront now extends with the space dedicated to leisure activities, and a haven for local fishing vessels.